If you'd like to see how I'm going to transform these very plain, outdated, ugly countertops into these lovely, trendy, lovely, more modern countertops using some epoxy, keep watching this video. Hey YouTube, so today in this video I am going to be giving my countertops a makeover. So I showed you what they look like, and you can still see it right here. I've never really been a fan of them. I think this is like the cheapest thing you can get. It's like a laminate. I never liked the design of them, and I always really liked the whole look of epoxy. So I'm gonna give it a go. So I went to Home Depot and I got some Behr Premium Plus paint. I'm going to paint this first, allow that to dry. Then I'm going to mix up my epoxy resin. You can get that from Amazon. I'll have a link to where I purchased that. This is, both of these are ½ gallon, so I guess that equals up to 1 gallon. I think that was about $64. So I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to do the whole entire kitchen tonight. So I'm gonna start with just this side. I've already wiped everything down really good. And I started, my son helped me with some of the masking here. But I'm gonna show myself masking. Well, I'm gonna mask off this cabinet and put like a drop cloth here so nothing goes down there. And I'm gonna make like a border here. I'm gonna make a border here so when it begins to flood over, it won't just spill down. So I have my mica powders. So I have a silver. I have a silver mica powder, I have a black, and I have a white. So I'm going to be using all three. I have these cups that I picked up from Dollar Tree so I can have 3 separate colors. Then I also picked this up so I can kind of put all 3 colors in here also to kind of do like a dirty pour method. We'll see how that turns out. I have the roller brushes. This came from Dollar Tree, and I have these sponge brushes in here. Here's a drop cloth to kind of mask things off. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I have these little mixers. These were free from Home Depot, so I can kind of mix my resin up. Oh, and the resin also came with this. I thought that was pretty cool. This is what you mix it up with on the drill. Oh, and then I have this little, this paint bowl thing to put my paint in. Okay guys, so before we get started with everything, I just want to do a quick walkthrough just to show you guys what I was working with here. So there's a little piece broken off on that edge there. It's like a gray, brown, gray, black. I'm not sure what this is called, like a laminate granite, I guess. Now, let me explain this to you. I took one little piece of my countertop and did a sample of white paint to see what it would look like. I didn't like it. And I ended up trying to cover it up with some contact paper, marble contact paper. And this is the other area of the countertops. So I have my son over there scraping off the white. This again is the left side of the kitchen countertops. Here, this is the best that we could scrape it off. And then there's a little bit of oil on there. I got it as low as I could. I'm just going to paint over it and take it from there. This is the overall, and we're going to transform this. And I've been wanting to do this for a while, you guys. I've been wanting to do it for a while. About 1.5 years ago, I was watching videos, researching it. That's my son over there trying to help me and scrape it and get that off. I guess the adhesive from the contact paper, it was on there for about 1 year. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was frustrated with it and just said, okay, eventually I'll do something. So this is what I'm working with underneath the contact, but you can kind of see the marble. I'm kind of, you know, pointing you to it, showing you what it looks like. So I wanted to do this for a while, you guys, but I just kind of chickened out, and I was like, no, I'm gonna mess everything up. I didn't trust myself, and I was just like, you know what? No. I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. So I'm not good at masking. My son helped me mask everything. Thank goodness for him being such a great helper. I got this from Home Depot, the drop cloth. So what I'm doing now is kind of laying this down. It was really big and long, so I'm just kind of cutting it and making sure that I cover up the actual drawers, because you don't want any resin dripping, you don't want any paint dripping. So I'm trying my best to kind of tape that area off. So that's what I'm doing. Make sure you do that first. And here I have the paint. I have flats. It's either flat or matte. It's one of them. That's all they had available. So I was like, okay, I don't really care because I'm going to cover it up anyway. This is just going to be my base color to cover up that brown, that very dated brown. That's a cute little pour out thing they give you now with the paint. The paint was probably about 30 bucks. So I have my little paint tray, and I have my little roller brush, and I'm just putting the paint on, just kind of going back and forth, getting some even strokes in, and I just go ahead and just cover it up. And instantly, just putting black on top of this ugly design, it felt good. It felt like I was on the right track. It was just something about it. So that's what you'll see me doing first. I am painting these countertops black, flat black. And I just want to make sure I get everything covered. I want to make sure it's even so that there's not like runs or like paintbrush marks or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing. Just like I said, make sure you put your drop cloth down. Make sure you mask everything very well, because you know, sometimes when you paint, it can get a little messy. You don't want to get any paint on your walls or anything. And if you do, hopefully you have some touch-up paint. Because I did have an area where I got something on the wall, but it was okay because we still had some touch-up paint in the basement, and I was able to correct that. And my son did a great job of masking, but really soon I will be adding some backsplash. So I wasn't too concerned if I did get something on the current backsplash that's there. So now I'm just going along the side, painting that black as well. Oh, let me tell you the name of the YouTube channels that I watched that gave me a lot of inspiration. Stone Coat and Ligari. They did really good. Those are two separate channels with the epoxy countertops. They did amazing. So just trust the process, because with this little area right here, I was so convinced that it was going to be ripply, bumpy, lumpy, but it actually, once I started adding the paint to this area, it didn't look bad. Now, just bear with me. This video is a little on the long side. It was over an hour worth of footage, but I managed to get it down to about 31 minutes. So if you don't want to see me painting the countertops and you want to get further into the video, just go ahead and fast forward. So I want to say that I did maybe 2 coats of paint on each countertop. I let it dry at least about 20 minutes in between. So I know for sure I did at least 2 or 3 for this to cover up that white. I just kind of took my time, made sure I had enough paint on the brush. But as you can see, this paint is covering this white and also this contact paper pretty well. I had seen plenty of videos of people putting contact paper on their countertops, and it looked so easy. But when I tried it, it was not. It just was not easy. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. Okay, so let me just add in here too. Let me just tell you. So I had been, you know how you go in Home Depot and you look at the cute display they have in there of those countertops in the kitchen cabinets and stuff, and I was just looking at like a basic like quartz, I guess, basically like white with a little bit of gray veins. Nothing real spectacular, just kind of something with like a nice softness to it. Just not this cheap laminate. This just came with, this was already there when we bought the house, whatever. And it wasn't even the most expensive one, but it was like $70 per square feet. Just something plain and basic. They quoted me like $1,600. And I was just like, wow. I just was like, okay, not right now. That's not what I wanted to spend on that plain stuff. And then they were like, it takes 10 weeks to get somebody out. Then you have to purchase a new sink. I'm like, what's wrong with my sink? They was like, oh, trust me, you want to get a new sink. That'll be another $500. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. So I think all of this, probably didn't pay any more than $150 for this project. Yeah, no more than $150, probably less than that. Okay, so I'm working my way over to another area of the countertop. Please forgive me, I did not have the best angle here, so my elbow and my arm is kind of in the way. But I'm just going to make sure that I evenly cover this same area with black, with the paint, let that dry. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just making sure that I paint all of this black first, because that's going to be my main base color. Again, mask. Try to be neat so you don't make too much of a mess, you know. I know that in a few other videos I saw when people were doing this either professionally, I saw most people did take their sink out. I was not about to do all of that. I didn't want to. So if you're wondering, oh, why didn't you remove your sink? I didn't want to. You feel free to go ahead and remove your sink if that's what you'd like to do. Go ahead, remove your sink. I just didn't want to play around with that. I didn't feel the need to. Okay, so I'm working my way around the sink area, painting this, making sure I get a nice even coat of paint there as well. And then I'm going to work my way over to the other side of the countertop. And once I finish painting this side of the countertop, I'll be finished with the paint portion. Oh, and just to let you know, the $1,600 that they quoted me for those quartz countertops, that did not include demo. They were just saying like it basically depends on how much they had to demo and to dispose of your current countertops. And I don't know, they just didn't know a direct price, I guess, until they rip everything out. Then they'll tell you how much it costs. So that could easily be like a $2,500 job, which is fine. It's just not what I want to do. I feel like if I pay all that to get countertops done, I want to do the whole shebang and get new cabinets too. You know, I don't want to just, I don't know, each to his own. Okay, so what you see me doing now, the paint has dried. Look how good that dry paint looks. Look at that compared to those brown and gray and black countertops. This just being just the flat black look good already. So what I am doing with this masking tape, which was like $7.99, I was like, this is so expensive. But I guess this is, what is the name brand one? I don't know what it's called, but it's like the really good one. I guess it's made by Duct Tape or 3M. I don't know. Home Depot is kind of up there sometimes, but the man said this was one of the best ones. He also said the frog tape was really good too, and that one was like $10. But he said what I was using it for, this was fine. So what I'm doing is creating like a gutter, or is it called it's just a little area to catch the overflow of the resin. That's what I'm building here. So I was trying to make sure it was nice and sturdy, because once you get the work in the epoxy, you'll let it flow and sit there, and then you'll have to pull the tape after a certain time frame. So I am mixing in part A and part B into my bucket here. I started out with 1 quart of part A, 1 quart of part B. So whenever you're using epoxy, for one, make sure you are wearing gloves and a mask. Make sure you're mixing equal parts. I mixed it and stirred it for about a good 5 minutes. I set it in here and poured inside of my plastic cups because I didn't want the cup to tip over. But you see on the floor, I put this, what is this thing called? A tarp. Because I don't want to get any chemicals on the floor. So I'm starting out with my black mica powder, which I got on Amazon. Again, I'll have links. Make sure that when you're handling mica powder, that when you stir it up, that you do not let it get up your nose, eyes, mouth, anything like that. Stir it up, but make sure your eyes and mouth are covered. So I have white, I have silver, and I have black. Those are the colors that I want to go with. As you see, my countertops, well, as you can see, my cabinets are black. Can you believe when we bought this house, the countertops were brown? Ooh, they were so outdated looking. Outdated. But when we painted our cabinets black and changed out the, I have a video of that too, and changed out our, the hardware, the handles and everything, it made it look so much more modern and up to date. So I'm going to do a dirty pour. If you're not sure what that is, a dirty pour is when you take your colors that you have, you pour it into one bucket, and it mixes together when you pour it, and it makes these really pretty designs. I have this Rust-Oleum chrome silver. I'm going to spray that in as well. Come to find out, I didn't really need it because my silver mica powder, I underestimated it. It was very pretty and metallic-y already. So if you want a nice metallic color in there, get some Rust-Oleum. But if you have some really nice micas, you may not need it. So I'm going to start my dirty pour. And let me just say this. I know now that I did not have enough epoxy. I had just enough, but I still kind of made it work. Now here, I didn't know, y'all. Now, I don't know as far as how I recommend you to do this. When it comes to epoxy, it's self-leveling, and gravity is not really on your side. So when I poured it up against that what is that part called? Not backsplash, but the back countertop part, whatever you want to call it. It ran down, and I kept trying to make it stay up because I wanted it to match the countertop. But on the other side, it was too difficult, so I just ended up doing a flat countertop only, not that back part. Anyway, I see why when the professionals do it, they have an abundance of epoxy just flowing all over the place. And I'm looking like, oh my gosh, you're wasting so much. No, they're not wasting. I see now why they have a river of it flowing. And I'll explain that to you a little better later in the video. So I'm doing my dirty pour, but in between, I'm taking just the black, pouring it. I'm taking just the white and pouring it. I'm taking just the silver. And then I'm going to just kind of take a popsicle stick and kind of make some groovy little designs. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was just determined to make it look better than what I started with. So I'm just kind of emptying out my cup. Then I did some more dirty pour, and I'm just trying to work it. I'm just working it the best way I can. That's really all I can say. I'm not a professional, but I just been wanting to do this for so long. Okay, here we go with the popsicle stick. I forgot that this kit came with this cute little smoothing tool. I ended up using it the next day on the other side. So I'm just kind of doing some twists and turns. You know, with the dirty pour, you have colors underneath colors, in between colors. So as I'm moving it around, you can see grays, white, black. Then I'm trying to pour it up that backdrop part, trying to make it spread. I had enough of what I mixed up for the other side in this one area here. I wanted to see how that went because I only had 1 gallon and I wanted to save what I had for the next day. Going forth, make sure you have 2 gallons to be on the safe side. So again, I'm going to take my little popsicle stick. I'm going to smooth it around. Oh, whatever epoxy you use, read the directions. Some cure faster than others. This was wintertime when I did this. It cures faster if it's like warmer in your home. The working time for this was 40 minutes. I worked it for probably about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'm not even going to hold you. So this one, it was cool, but I felt like I wanted to see a little bit more of my white. But it's really nice with the black. I went really heavy with the gray and the silver over here. But I'm taking my heat gun and I'm just kind of going up against it and making sure there's no bubbles in it. So this is how it's looking once it's starting to settle. And you see here, I'm pulling down on my masking tape, because what you want to do after maybe 1 hour or 2, it really kind of depends. You want to loosen that up so it can come over the edges and flow like a waterfall, kind of like lava, a slow waterfall lava, if that makes sense. And you want to kind of smooth it over the edges, smooth it across the bottom, because if you take too long, like I did on the other countertop the next day, we'll get into that later in the video, then you'll have a little disaster like I did. So anyway, I'm smoothing this while it's still workable, you know? So I'm just pulling off the masking tape. I'm working it on the edge because it'll just kind of smooth on there and it'll kind of just stick to it. I'm working it up the backdrop area part of the countertop. You can't see it from this angle. And it was so hard trying to record. Hands a mess. It was like 2 a.m. I was trying to get the best angles I can, so just bear with me. So I was just trying to work it to where whatever drips off can drip freely, but that I at least rubbed it along the edge. Okay, so this is where we are. And I release the pulled edges, smooth them out. I think I went a little heavy with the silver on this side. And as you can see, gravity was not my friend back there on the backsplash part. But still, it still looks better than what I had. I'll figure something out tomorrow. But not bad at all. And then this is this one area here, really heavy with the silver. And then I'll work on this area and this area tomorrow. Okay, this is day 2. And I decided I'm not going to do the backboard part. This is water splash from me having to wash the dishes. I'm going to wipe that off. I'm not going to do that. It was too stressful. I'm going to leave that black. I'm just going to focus on this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. This has already fully dried. It's looking good. There's a few little dips in it. Not exactly sure why, but it looks very, very, very good. I like it. Okay, so what you see me doing is adding a clear coat of epoxy before I get started pouring. I rewatched the tutorials, and that's what they did, and I forgot they did that, and I didn't do it on the other side. So I'm doing my dirty pour. I have my dirty pour going here, and it's like, as I'm watching this back, it's like, girl, why didn't you have more? When the professionals were doing it, they were pouring, and it was just spilling all over the place. Excuse my arm and my hip showing a little bit. Again, I didn't have the best angles here, so I just kept pouring and trying to make sure I was just covering up the area here the best way I could, making sure I could see more of my white epoxy, so I didn't go too hard. I don't know why it's looking like that. Probably because I had it kind of cold, because I had the windows open. Again, it's wintertime when I did this. I had the windows open. I had the fans going because you know epoxy is very strong. And again, I waited till the middle of the night when everybody was asleep with their doors closed so I could have the whole house cold and aired out doing this strong stuff. So I'm just pouring and pouring. You gotta trust the process. Like, it looks crazy now, but once you start to smooth it around, it won't even look the same. Like, once you walk away from it and go to sleep and wake up the next morning, you'll be like, oh, this looks much better. Oh, it moved around quite a bit. And it just looks better. So, okay, look, let me tell you, this is where I had a problem. I have the epoxy in the corners where I have my edge of overflow. Oh, and again, yes, I'm using a heat gun so I can make sure there's no bubbles. And then this also kind of helps flow around the colors together and the designs. So I'm just using the heat gun, doing that portion. Again, it was like 2 a.m. I was tired. It's starting to look cute. It's coming together. I have some areas that's missing epoxy for whatever reason. And I'm just kind of overlooking things. And I ended up falling asleep and forgot to wake myself up and pull off the masking tape. And when I tell you this stuff hardened up, I had to have my husband help me. He had to take a hammer and this scraper and cut this thick layer of epoxy off the countertops. I was like, oh no. Big mistake. So don't you do that. Don't do this. Make sure you wait about an hour or two and pull this off. So here is the final finished result. I like it. My kids like it. My husband was impressed. He likes it. It's mine. Nobody paid me to do it. I don't have to answer to nobody about my little disaster over there, which I will be going ahead and fixing that. I had a hard time getting the rest of that blue tape off. I used like a little picker to get it off. I was ready to close this video out, so you can still see some of that blue there. I'm going to sand that down. I'm going to buy some more epoxy and reflood that area over there. And then I have the white veins I tried to add here where I had some little dips missing. So it's like a little raised on that other countertop. But I like this. I do. You may think it look crazy, and that's fine. I thought it did too at that back part back there, but my daughter was like, no, mommy, that looks like a design. She thought it looks like a design on that back part. I wish I would have just left that part black. But I know I made some mistakes. I did. But I like these shiny countertops. I like this silver. I like the black. I like the white. I like how it kind of marbleized or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call this design. When you're doing epoxy, it's pretty much almost impossible to have each countertop look the same because it just kind of takes on a form of its own. I wasn't trying to have them all look the same. I did want them to be cohesive as far as the 3 colors go. But I really do like this. But I think what I will do eventually is reflood my the edges of the countertop. As far as the edges of the countertop, this little small one on the other side of the stove probably came out the best on the edge. But I think I did good for this to be my first time. I like how these colors kind of flooded together. I like this side with just the black and just the actual countertop with the epoxy. Let me know what you think. But I'm really proud of this. I just kind of stepped out, did it, got it done. Because when I have something on my mind and I'm just like, I really want to do this. Sometimes you want to do something, but then you kind of go back and forth with yourself about it, and then you do it, and you be like, ooh, I wish I would have did this a long time ago. But again, my disaster over here, I'm showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the bad and the ugly. I'm pointing it to you. I'm showing you what I did and why it happened. I'm telling you not to make this mistake. I'll pull off the rest of this. I was ready to close this video out. But yeah, I'm showing you up close and personal what needs to be redone, why it had that thick edge. Do not let it reform the edges of your counter. But I think, of course, you need to have 2 gallons, I'm sorry, 2 gallons of epoxy. But you guys, thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Ooh, this look rough right here. I can at least paint over that part black. But thanks you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who may be interested. I'm just laughing at that part of that countertop. It's funny. But I still like the outcome. But anyway, subscribe if you like to. If you do subscribe to this channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time I upload a new video. This countertop looks a lot better than the other one. But thanks again, you guys. Bye-bye. Website myroyalradiance.com, and we do carry faux leather inspired designer fabric for your crafting needs, luxury inspired croc charms, as well as iron-on patches and much more. Enjoy the coupon code MyRoyalBeauty10OFF. Check out our website, crtacticaldefense.com, where we do sell in-waistband gun holsters, belly band holsters, and many more. Please check out my discount code VIBES for a special discount for my subscribers. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Life is a Whole Vibe, and my name is the same on TikTok as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.